Hey, thank you for coming by Tori Magoo 44. Today is September 10th. Tomorrow is September 11th. Obviously a huge day for all of us, for everyone, and my heart goes out to every single person who was affected, which is just about all of us, but especially the families who lost loved ones during 9/11. Scientology kind of pales in comparison to what happened tomorrow in our world. However, they're going to do a huge thing on that, and I hope everyone plugs in and watches it, because they've done some wonderful things in honor of all of the families who have lost loved ones and the people who died that day. So I hope you tune in and watch for it. Today is a video that I'm making about Scientology, religion, or Mafia. And when I say Scientology, for me, I'm talking about the Church of Scientology. That's what I'm dealing with. I don't know if many of you have plugged into Marty Rathbun and Ursula Caberta over in Germany, but they had a really good meeting together, and I highly recommend you look at their videos. I'll put them in here, and I'm also going to put in a video of a young man who, I don't know if he's young, but he's a younger man, a man who was snagged by the Church of Scientology thinking he was getting hired to do a documentary, and went to basically stalk Marty Rathbun. And he tells about it. Why that's so important to me, besides the fact that it does show they really are, the Church of Scientology is an institution of Mafia at this point. The people that are in don't know about it. That's the missing link, is that it's sort of like a triangle. It's very much like the Truman Show. If you haven't seen it, rent it and watch it. They can't see the walls, the people that are inside of it. It's all wonderful, it's all great, come on in. But you can see, listening to this video, and please take time to listen to this, the gentleman who did the documentary. It'll be the first link. He, in doing that, talks about how he was hired by the church. He wasn't even hired by the Church of Scientology. He was hired by someone, right? That's what they do. And I know this because when I worked for the Office of Special Affairs, again, myself, an unknowing dupe, thinking that I was just helping my auditor, who it turned out was working for the Office of Special Affairs, helping, right? And I knew he was working for them, but it was sort of like, I thought I trusted him. He told me, trust me, I would never do anything that's illegal, which I still don't know if that was illegal or not, but at the time they were spamming what people were writing on the news group then, the main news group. This was in the 90s, right? It was Alt Religion Scientology. It was just about the only news group out there that was talking about Scientology. And they were trying to, their view was if they could drive it down a page and onto the second page, no one would read it. So that's what they were doing, was spamming it. And they had me opening up the phony accounts. I knew, my auditor knew very little about computers, and the rest of the people knew less. So I asked him, I said, how are you doing this stuff? Because you guys don't know anything about computers. And he said, oh, we hire people. We pay them. That's it. And I said, you hire people? And he said, yeah, we just hire computer people, and they do the work for us, and that's how it works. So I know firsthand that they do that. It isn't like, oh, they really don't. And this guy will tell you they do. They paid him, they were paying him $2,000 a week to basically stalk Marty Rathbun. And as he said, now, when you type in his name, all that comes up is stuff about Scientology. That's what they do. So if you're thinking of getting hired, I'll give you a couple of tips that you can check on to see if it's the Church of Scientology. Do they use any of the Hubbard management technology? That's under the Church of Scientology. Do they have any connections at all with ABLE, which is underneath the umbrella of Scientology, which is Applied Scholastics, Narconon, Criminon, author, different things. Do they have any connection to WISE, which is the World Institute of Scientology Enterprises? Again, all underneath the umbrella of the Church of Scientology. They have a bunch of phony groups, and now they probably have even just people who will say, no, we don't have any connection to those. So, you have to really be vigilant yourself and look at the product. I mean, this gentleman, you'll see, if you ever see him in one of the videos stalking, well, it's in his video of him there with Marty. And it's like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go, this isn't a documentary. This is something else, right? Where they're just there with their golf carts out in front of his house, trying to do whatever. Who knows? God knows what David Miscavige is thinking of. He isn't thinking. If he was thinking, if he knew anything at all about anything, he would not be doing these actions, because they're insane, and it proves that they're insane over and over and over. And if you're lurking and you're listening to this, I've said this for 11 years, look at both sides and compare the notes, right? You decide. If you can look at both sides, I have full confidence you'll make the right decision. If you can't look at both sides, that's when you have to think, now wait a minute. And that's what got me starting to wake up. Because a young man said to me, if you're free, why can't you read certain books? And you know what? I couldn't stop thinking about that. Why can't I read certain books? It's a very good point. And it's a very simple point. I was out handling critics. They were yelling all these facts about L. Ron Hubbard and Lisa McPherson and this and that. And it was just like I had my, what I call plexiglass up. Didn't hear it. Didn't want to hear it. Didn't matter. But the guy asking me about why can't you read certain books with a real interest in finding out, why can't you? It did. I remember going home that night and thinking, why can't I? Now, is that a religion that won't let you talk to people, that breaks up families, that runs fair game? Fair game is where L. Ron Hubbard said you can lie, cheat, steal, destroy someone utterly. Okay? That is what he said. That is what they do. Yes, he wrote a cancellation, and the people that are in the triangle, in the Truman Show, and I was one of them, believed that fair game was canceled. I stood up in court and said fair game is canceled. That's not true. Is it not true? No. It happens all the time. It happens to me. It happens to my friends. And absolutely, they are out doing fair game. So, yes, they canceled the policy that said the word fair game, but at the bottom it says this does not apply to suppressive people. Hello? Declared suppressive. If by any chance you're new and you missed my SB Declare, there you go. Tori Bazazian, that was my married name, suppressive person declare by the Church of Scientology Flag Service Organization. There you go. Declare you suppressive. No one is allowed to talk to me that from the Church of Scientology. Thankfully, tons and tons of people are leaving, and I welcome all of you. Please come on out. Don't feel like you have to stay. Don't feel like you blew it because you stayed, so now you've got to stay even longer. It's nothing more. I've said it a ton of times. It feels like you're jumping off of a mountain 1,000 feet high. And at the bottom, there's a little sign that says, you might make it if you jump. But the truth is, it's nothing more than like walking across the street. There's a line in the middle. One side, you're in totalitarianism. Under David Miscavige, you walk across the street, you're free. That's it. You can do whatever you want. You can walk away. You can never say another word about Scientology. That's it. Or you can speak out. You can do whatever you want to do. But that is your freedom once you get out of that cult that pretends to be a religion, which you know it isn't, because they charge you every single level of every single thing you do. And every book you buy you have to pay for, and everything. And they say, well, the Catholic Church charges. No, they don't have fees. They do have real donations. You say they're donations, you know they're not. They're not. They're fees. And you have to pay them, and they're huge fees. You know, the very little ones are not too much, but then very quickly it gets into bigger and bigger and thousands, and, you know, sell your house and sell your mother's house and just awful things that I've heard. So read, look, listen, make up your own mind. Okay, and by your own mind, I don't mean your mind with Scientology. I mean your own mind, okay? And do that for you. And do that for your mother and father. And do that for your sisters and brothers. And do that for people that love you, that you may have disconnected from. They still love you. It's not like if you leave, they won't love you. They do love you. They're here going, I want to talk to my son. I want to talk to my daughter. I want to talk to my husband. I want to talk to my wife, you know, my business partner. These people are out here, And a huge army of people, which I said in 2000, it's a huge army of people, and that was the critics and ex-Scientologists. Now there's Anonymous, which is like huge, and the critics, and tons of ex-Scientologists are out now. There weren't that many then, now there's a ton, and more leaving every day. And many that are even in the Church of Scientology aren't really in it. They're just in it because they're afraid they'll lose their friends by getting declared. Okay? So if everybody stood up today and said, that's it, we're not going to do this anymore. Stand by your own beliefs and your own truths. Be strong. Be strong. Okay? And do what's right. And tomorrow, have a safe day. And I love you all, and thank you for coming by. And I hope this helps somebody. I hope you come out. I really do. Or don't go in. They have good ads, but you know they're, read, look, listen. Make up your own mind. Learn both sides. All right, there you go. Peace out.